What it do, baby? It's your boy JB, and you are tuned in to the newest, hottest, freshest sports talk podcast show in the nation. Sports Talking with JB. Yes, sir. We're back again for another episode. I know it's not Wednesday night, but your boy was tired last night. I had to get some rest. Had a long week, a lot of traveling, a lot of running around, a lot of networking. So we here on a Thursday night, February the 1st, and it's a special show tonight. Special show. Before I keep going, gotta do it for the Title Tower, the unofficial official sponsor of Sport Talking with JB and the Road Show podcast, which I got a special announcement about that for A-Day weekend coming soon. All right. We on here tonight. Appreciate everybody in the chat. Make sure y'all join the chat tonight. I got a special guest I'm going to bring up in just a few minutes. But it's been a week, man. It's been a week. As you all know, Senior Bowl is going on this Saturday, 12 o'clock noon in Mobile, Alabama. The Senior Bowl is the elite of all the college seniors going into the draft. And we're going to talk about that tonight, man. A lot big networking event, media day, and I ain't going to waste no time. We're going to give it to you right now. So let me bring my special guest. Let me introduce him first before I bring him on. This guy's done work, 24/7 sports, recruiting, Troy football, and he's a good friend of mine. My boy Joe Will. Let me bring him to the show.
Can you hear me, man?
Yeah, I hear you good, boy. You got the mic and the headphones.
Yeah, I last second brought my podcasting microphone, so it's detached from the mic boom and all that, but I figured I'd use it, and I'm glad that I brought it for sure.
Yes, sir. Yes, sir. Hold on, let me face the screen. Okay, we good. You good?
Yeah, I'm good. How you feeling, man?
I'm good, man. I was just introducing you, man. 24/7 Sports, Troy Insider. Did some work for Alabama. Introduce yourself to the people, man. They don't know you.
Yeah, so I did my undergrad at University of Alabama. I graduated in 2021. While I was there, I worked for Tide 100.9. I interned there for about a year, a little over a year.
Right.
And then I've just kind of been doing some podcasting, kind of getting my feet wet into the journalism multimedia world. And right now I do the Troy football. We just recently created a 24/7 sports recruiting site. So we're trying to get that up off the ground. And so I'm excited to have that opportunity to do that. But this week has just been crazy.
Yeah, man.
Sure.
It's been a great experience, man. I was just, man, it was a pleasure to meet you finally. We've been chopping it up on Twitter.
And, I didn't even know we live like right next to each other, basically.
That's what I'm saying, man. So, I mean, you just never know who in your backyard, until you get out the network. And I put a quote, I said, your network is your net worth. And it makes so much sense. You know what I'm saying? So,
yeah, this week, just going into this week, one of my big goals was to network. And, a lot of people like you and I interact on Twitter, but we don't get the chance to meet in person. So this was a huge networking event, and it's been awesome.
Right. Shout out DJ Seaway in the chat, my podcast partner. Big shout out to him. So Joe Will, man, we gonna cut to the chase. We was there for the practices. You were there today, so you got my back for today because I wasn't able to be there. But from what we've seen, we just gonna recap the week. Started out Tuesday. On Wednesday, you had more practice interviews, media day, and then today was the final day of the practices. We can start with the national team. I got some notes. I'm just gonna let you, I'm gonna say my piece, and I'm gonna let you, chime in and give me some updates on what happened today. First of all, did you see Jerry Rice today?
I did. I actually, I was lucky enough to get a picture with him.
What?
So that was cool. Yeah, I don't know if you see it on my social media, but
bro, you posted it?
I did. Yeah, it's been a crazy week. So some of my stuff is kind of gone under the radar. But yeah, I got a picture with the GOAT.
Wow.
It was cool because I was up there in the stands, and obviously he was there watching his son, Brendan Rice, who I'm sure we can get into, had a great week. But I looked down there. I was like, Jerry Rice is down there. I was like, in the back of my head, I was like, maybe I get a picture of him later or something when they do the media session, like where we get to go on the field. And I was like, no chance. But ended up working out well. I kind of stood around him. He was talking to some reporter for I can't remember who. But so I was like right next to him too. And then after that was over, it was right before the media session, and I basically was just like, hey man, big fan. Would you mind getting a picture? And it was awesome. So definitely amazing week, kind of a nice little cherry on top for a great week for sure.
Hell yeah, man. I was mad when I saw. I said, damn, I miss Jerry Rice. And T.O. was there. Terry Owens was there.
Yeah, he was there as well. But
missed out.
Great week. Other than that, though, to be honest, today was not very eventful. They kind of both the national roster and the American roster kind of super low key, not anything too crazy. A lot of guys didn't even practice. Roman Wilson, Ricky Pearsall, two guys who, you've seen it, have had amazing first 2 days, Tuesday and Wednesday. So
they didn't even need a third day.
Yeah. Their stock right now is super high, and I don't really blame them for not practicing. And then I think some other guys, there were a couple guys that were a little banged up from practicing, so they decided they didn't really feel like practicing, which I don't blame it either. I mean, that's how it is really with this event. You have all it takes is one or two good practices and you're good.
That's right.
Quinyon Mitchell, who we'll talk about as well, he had an amazing week. He's going to be pretty much a lock for a first round pick now. So this is a big event. And props to Jim Nagy, the executive director, who puts this thing on. This event, this is my first event or first time at this event.
Mine
too.
It
blew me away. And so hopefully, get the chance to go back next year. But like I said earlier, you can't really ask for a better week.
Yeah, man. Jim Nagy put it on, man. Shouts out to him. Big shout out. That's that boy, man. Jim Nagy. A lot of people don't know him because, he kind of flies under the radar. Cool guy. And I love the way from the opening the press conference on Tuesday morning, did that spectacular opening to go on to the practices, everything laid out. Access was so, for us, the access that we had to just kind of roam around and kind of figure out what you're going to do and just do it. That was the cool part about it, man. That was the cool part.
I mean, yesterday during the media event in the afternoon, I didn't really know what to expect, but it was basically just free reign. You wanted to go up to a player, you could easily talk to any of the guys. I mean, obviously some of the bigger names were on the podium, but I was blown away. I think that's part of what makes this event so special is just how flexible they are, and they understand a lot of the media people coming to the event. You have the bigger names, your ESPNs, your NFL networks, PFF guys, but a lot of people are just kind of trying to make it in the media world, trying to cut their teeth. And shout out to Nagy for just making the players super available and flexible.
Yeah. We definitely gonna be this gonna be a recurring thing. I plan on doing this again, and I know you do. And man, it was just good to just be there and network. Like you see the players all the time. You see football players and athletes all the time, but you don't see that much media in one time. You really don't see that unless it's a big event like here or Super Bowl or college playoffs or something like that. So, I mean, props to them for that event, man. Senior Bowl is a big deal. It's a big deal.
Yeah, absolutely. And you got the combine, obviously, but that's more kind of a professional, closed off setting. I think, in my opinion, the Senior Bowl event is, the hashtag, the draft starts in Mobile, really does because that's where just getting that many media people and coaches and scouts together in one place, it's awesome. And again, like I said, like the flexibility, being able to talk to all these guys, and it's just crazy. Monday night, I got here Monday evening, just going out to a bar and seeing Manny Diaz and like all the NFL Network people, Draft Network people, just drinking beers and being normal people, which, you watch all these guys on TV, you don't expect to, or sometimes I forget personally, just like these are normal people. So, you see him, I talked to a couple guys, talked to Manny Diaz for a little bit. I was fortunate enough to kind of sit and talk with him and the safeties coach for the Cleveland Browns. So it's an awesome event. And
that's cool.
I would just say overall, I was able to accomplish a lot of the things I set my goals for the week basically, and kind of exceeded a lot of those as well. I'm sure you can attest to that too.
Hell yeah, man. I was really being a sponge, you know what I'm saying? Soaking up all the game, talking to some people I never would have met if it wasn't for an event like this. And shouts out to Javon Baker's dad. I want to give him a big shout out, man. I sat there, talked to Javon Baker's dad, Gerald Baker, for probably about 2 hours on yesterday. He's a cool guy, man. We became cool, real like homies, and you just never know who you will see at an event like this and who you'll bond with at an event like this. So that was the good thing about it, man. And I hope to do more stuff like this in the future.
Absolutely.
Hell yeah. So yeah, man, let's do this right now. So the national team and the American team. Let's start with national teams offense. The quarterbacks, the big name quarterbacks were on this offense. You got Bo Nix, Michael Penix Jr., and Sam Hartman. So my theory for why they put these quarterbacks on the same team, I kind of was trying to think about, why would they put Bo Nix and Penix on the same team? But if you look at the receivers on this team, it's loaded with talent. It's loaded with talent, Joe. And I feel like they did that on purpose so these quarterbacks can shine on Saturday.
Yeah, I agree. And none of the guys, I think Nix, Hartman, and Penix really blew me away this week. I mean, I don't know about you, but I wasn't like, I thought there'd be like some wow moments. They were all just kind of consistently like, I mean, I will say today, Michael Penix had a nice play. They were doing goal line stuff. He had a nice throw to Luke McCaffrey.
I saw that.
But other than that,
I saw the highlight.
Other than that, it was kind of just like, which, I mean, Penix and Nix don't really have too much to prove, in my opinion. I mean, we saw them, 2 Heisman finalists, put on absolute show this year in the Pac-12. So I fully expect both of them to go in the first round. I guess it's just a question of like where. But I will say the one thing about Sam Hartman throughout the week that I was impressed with was his legs. A lot of times the play broke down. He did a great job of scrambling with his legs. So, but yeah, the quarterback wise, it was kind of just like, kind of all right. I mean,
it seemed like Bo Nix, he was just there. Like he didn't really need to be. Of course, Penix didn't need to be there, but the press was there, so you got a lot of media coverage this week. And Hartman did impress me. Now, Hartman reminds me of Baker Mayfield a little bit.
Yeah, I can see that for real. But
he's got that game.
I agree. Like, I think for Penix and for Nix, this was kind of more of like a chance for them to meet the scouts and stuff, and less about the actual like Senior Bowl practices. And that was kind of the vibe I got. I was close to Nix a few times, and just kind of his attitude, his demeanor. Like, it wasn't that he didn't want to be there, but he was very like, hey,
home about it.
Yeah, he was like, he asked, I can't remember her name, whoever's doing the media stuff. Hey, like, who am I talking to? Like, he was very just like, even yesterday, the media event, like, he was in and out of the
real quick. He was in and out real quick.
Yeah, he was in and out of there in like 10 minutes or less. Just got a couple interviews.
He walked past me. He walked right. He was trying to get somewhere. But you remember during the press conference at the beginning, they was asking him questions about how the naysayers pretty much saying he don't have what he was like. He don't care. I like his attitude. He don't care about what the naysayers say.
I think I texted you during that because somebody was dumb enough to ask.
Oh yeah, you like, why they ask no stupid questions?
Yes, somebody asked. What did they say? They were like, "There's a lot of scouts and analysts that are questioning your ability to read a defense, and what do you like have to say about that?" And he was like, "I don't know what to say. I mean, it's out of my control." And there was a lot of people this week. That asked like questions that you should not be asking. I feel like if you're going to an event like this, especially if it's, like your first event, which a lot of these people like us, it was their first event. You can't be like asking bold questions. There was one yesterday for Kalen King. He didn't have too many people around him. And somebody went up there. I wanted to talk to him because like he's a guy that I was excited to see going into this week. And somebody was like, how does it feel to not really have a lot of people up here wanting to talk to you? And I literally face palmed. Like, I was like, why would you ask that? And he responded, well, he's like, I mean, I understand it. You got Michael Penix right there. Like, I mean, that guy is a Heisman finalist. Like, he handled it very well, and Nix handled it well too. But it's like, as media people, like, some of these people need to check themselves and be
that's
like,
right.
I don't need to ask these questions. Like, you don't have to get the the guys pissed off and controversial answers. Like, just this whole week is about positivity and these guys kind of building their game up, and you don't have to like tear them down in the process.
Right, man. And that's why I didn't ask too many questions. I kind of like soaked up a lot of stuff, because hey, it's our first time, so you gotta know when you come to an event like this the next time to go ahead and have something in the chamber ready for everybody. So I just kind of, pick my spots.
Yeah, and even my questions, like a lot of them are very generic. A couple guys I kind of strayed away from the norm question wise, but I made sure to like do some research before I asked him. I didn't just shoot from the hip.
Right.
Like I asked Kamani Vidal today about his impressive season, all the accolades he had. I just made sure that my questions were well thought through and not just, hey, these people say you suck. What do you have to say to that? Like,
right. And you know what? People they be want a headline. They want to rile somebody up to get a headline and get some views and some likes. You don't supposed to do that. You got to be professional, but you got to be cool about it.
Yeah, exactly. And these guys are nice enough to even talk to us, media members. They don't have to talk to us. I mean, they kind of do, but they don't have to do it in the capacity that they do. And so I was just like, every time I interviewed a guy, I said, thank you so much. Like, thank for talking to me, because it really is a blessing. And a lot of people I feel like took it for granted.
They took it for granted. Yeah, they definitely took it for granted. C-Way, you're right, man. They definitely, I mean, it's all about being respectful. You got to respectfully do what you're doing, because it's a job. I mean, it's fun because we love to do it. We love sports, we into it, but it's a job at the same time.
Exactly.
So, but did anybody ask Michael Penix why he wore the purple do-rag?
He didn't. I thought about doing it, but I didn't. I thought it would sound stupid for me.
I know. It sounds like a stupid question, but I really want to know. I understand Washington, they wore purple. So what if he get drafted to the Denver Broncos? They ain't got no damn purple. You gonna wear purple?
He's gonna have to. Maybe it was his lucky do-rag, and he wanted to wear it.
I don't know. I think he tried to get a deal. Somebody did ask Sam Hartman about his hair though, because he got some hair product. Like, he got that good hair going. Sam Hartman, he could be a model.
He's a heartthrob for real.
Man,
I know.
I posted him. Man, look, I posted him on the video. I asked him his question yesterday. I posted it. The women got up under the comments saying, "Oh, we got one right here. We got one." I'm telling you, Sam Hartman, the best looking man in the draft. If his NFL career,
I agree. If his NFL career doesn't pan out or whatever, he could go on The Bachelor immediately.
Yeah, he do like who did that?
Jesse Palmer. He'd be the next.
Jesse Palmer did that. Yeah, he did. Yeah, so we got an old Jesse Palmer in the draft.
Yep.
But anyway, besides the point, Sam Hartman did. He probably did something to help his draft stock, because I wouldn't hear much about Sam Hartman, especially going in the top 2 rounds. But he did some good things this week. I would say that. He didn't hurt himself.
He was consistent throughout this week, and that's kind of a lot of players had good practices one day, and then the next day had a bad day. He was consistent the whole 3 days of practice. So and he's an older guy. He's had a lot of success in college. So I mean, somebody's gonna pick him up. I can see him getting drafted in like the 4th or 5th round. I'm sure he interviews pretty well, because from the interview, like your interview, I saw
he did a great interview. I stood over there for about 10 minutes. He's
very well spoken, very professional, and that's really a lot of this whole process is just interviewing well. I mean, you can play well on the field, but if you have a bad interview and teams don't like your attitude or how you carry yourself in the interview, that can really dock you a lot of points in their eyes.
Yeah. So we agreeing that Sam Hartman was the most consistent and had the best hair. All right. So running backs, I got my favorite, and I'm gonna ask you about the Troy guy. So Marshawn Lloyd from USC, I chopped it up with him too. Man, he showed out. He stood out for the running backs for me. He really broke. I mean, I think the catching the ball at pretty good, and he was just always. I was like, damn, that's that USC helmet again. It's Marshawn Lloyd.
Yeah, I thought early on Tuesday, the first practice, it was a little rough for him, but he definitely rebounded well and closed out the week
Yeah. Yesterday he
Wednesday
looked good
and
on Wednesday.
he was great yesterday. That was one thing I took notice of. He looked really good. But yeah, Kamani Vidal from Troy.
Yeah.
Obviously, I'm biased, but he's a smaller guy. He's only like 5'8", but he's very physical going up the middle. A lot of times, like you would see him go in the middle, get kind of swelled up, and then he would just be kind of chopping his feet and bust out.
Yes.
Also very great out of the backfield as a receiver too. He had a couple, 2 or 3 nice routes where he took the ball and out of the backfield and ran it downfield. But I liked him a lot, and when I interviewed him, he was a great guy to interview. Big smile on his face. So I don't know necessarily what his draft projection is.
Yeah, that's why I was going to ask you.
He had a great week, maybe like a 4th round guy. Even this year, like he had 1,600 yards, 14 touchdowns at Troy.
Yeah.
Broke their rushing record. Like he had a great year. So he helped him. I had a lot of high expectations going into this week for him, and he kind of, I think, submitted those expectations.
That's good.
He had a great week overall. So he'll definitely get drafted.
Pro day and combine will be crucial for guys like him coming from a smaller school. You go out there and you put up those 40 times and those reps, and that's gonna be crucial for him. But I think, man, the running back class isn't that heavy this year. It's kind of thin.
Yeah, I agree. I mean, you have some guys that could, third, 5th round range, but yeah, I agree. There's really nobody. There's no like stud running backs. Like you don't have like a Najee Harris or like.
Right.
And the running back position obviously now is so different. Like
it's expendable now. Like
you have your star guys, but if you're not like a star guy, and even if you are, like you only really are guaranteed your rookie contract, and then you're kind of just like.
That's right.
Super replaceable.
Yeah. So those 2 guys kind of stood out. But I'm gonna tell you what was the most talent on the field from the wide receivers position. It was talent all over the field in the wide receiver position. But I'm gonna tell you who stood out to me and really everybody, Roman Wilson from Michigan.
Yeah.
Yeah, man. He did in 2 days. He didn't have, like you say, he didn't have to do anything today. What he did.
Ooh, that one-handed catch he had.
Yeah, I posted that. I'm like, man. And then he was like killing all the DBs on Tuesday.
Yeah, that's what I was telling someone today. Michigan's offense this year, I mean, really the last like 5 or 6 years has just been predominantly running the ball. And when they needed big plays from receivers, Roman Wilson was the guy that they turned to, and he always stepped up.
Yeah.
So I guess we don't really necessarily – we haven't been able to see him really fully showcase his abilities as a receiver because they haven't needed to throw the ball really. So he had a great
J.J. McCarthy as a quarterback, J.J. McCarthy quarterback. He's not really a gunslinger, so, just imagine him in a high-power offense.
Yeah, not that he had a bad college career, but, I mean, he was very highly recruited, and I wouldn't be shocked at all if he ends up having a better NFL career than college career.
I hear Tyler Lockett comparisons to him. That's
I saw that
a lot. Yeah, I mean the dudes. He got speed. He's got a hell of a catch radius. He can run all the routes on the route tree. He really doesn't have a weakness. He's kind of small, but a lot of receivers are small.
All the guys that were there, really, for the most part. Well, the guys that had the best week. You look at Ladd McConkey, Pearsall, and Wilson. All 3 of those guys. None of them are like big imposing figures, but they all had amazing weeks.
Yeah, and that's all that's all you need, man. If you can get separation, you can catch the ball good,
I mean, like Devontae Smith, he's small. I mean, obviously that's a different. He's a different breed, but I think the league. Tank Dell, 5'9", a guy who went to the Senior Bowl last year, who had an amazing year for the Texans this year. You don't have to be like an A.J. Brown or a DK Metcalf or like a big bodied receiver to be successful in the NFL. A lot of the best guys are smaller, quicker guys because it's hard for the DBs to keep track of you if you're cutting on a dime.
Let's talk about the fastest guy out there was Tez Walker, man, from North Carolina. I think the only thing he did wrong was not catch the ball because he had a few drops, man. I mean, he was fast. He was shaking people. He was getting open, but he wasn't finishing the catch. And I think that hurt him.
Yeah, I agree. He was fastest guy there, and obviously speed's the name of the game. That's something that a lot of NFL teams are looking for amongst other traits for a receiver. But yeah, right. He did. There was a couple times, even today, he had one or two drops. So like,
that ain't
trouble
good,
catching the ball. Yeah, and that's a guy. He's like a absolute freak athlete. You know, we're talking just about his speed, but his size and his ability to get deep in the secondary and get loose. So hopefully he can work on that.
He need to hit the machine, hit them jug machine. I don't know what it is. I think it's, some guys just have it all. He's one of the guys. He's just have to work on that. And I think like Brandon Rice, you said he had a good day today. I heard a lot. He did great today because he kind of struggled catching the ball early in the week.
Yeah, I thought Tuesday he didn't have the best day. Wednesday I thought he did pretty well. Then today he did well. He definitely looks the part.
He's a huge man. He's bigger than I thought. He's got the size, he's got the frame, and he can run routes, and he's fast. I saw him on the top 5 of the receivers. And they when they put it on the board, the speed. He popped up in the top 5 for the receivers.
Yeah, and it was cool, like seeing. Obviously, we talked about Jerry Rice, but kind of hearing him talk. The guy who was interviewing him was just kind of asking about his son, and he just saying how much of a hard worker he was, and props to him for wanting to follow in his footsteps, playing receiver, but just kind of reiterating how much of a hard worker he is, and how proud he was of him. So that was cool, and he looks the part. Had a great year this year at USC. I don't have the numbers off the top of my head, but I think he had double-digit touchdowns. I could be wrong, but that's a guy that – I mean, this receiver class is loaded. We're talking about Wilson, McConkey, Pearsall, Rice, the guys that we saw this week, kind of falling under the radar. Could be pick up kind of later second, third round picks for teams that already have like a pretty loaded roster.
And what's crazy about it is the top 3 guys didn't even go. Marvin Harrison Jr. wasn't there, Roma Duzier, and Malik Neighbors. So those are the top 3 receivers. These guys that were here for Senior Bowl week, they'll go second, third. They'll be sprinkled all over the place, but they'll get drafted for sure.
Yeah, I think this draft is loaded at those 2 positions, or not, I said those 2 because I was already thinking what I was going to say next. Offensive tackle and receiver, I think, is the most deep. And like you said, everybody's talking about Adunze, Marvin Jr., Malik Neighbors, but you got guys like Troy Franklin, Brian Thomas from LSU.
I forgot about him.
So the guys that we're talking about that we were able to see this week that had good weeks could be a great kind of like diamond in the rough pickup, and because they're falling on the radar so much because of how great this class is and the group is as a whole.
I'm glad you said diamond in the rough because that's Javon Baker to me. Javon Baker, and they said he had a great day today. Now, yesterday, I was talking with his dad. He had that one drop, but other than that, he was getting open. He was catching everything. He was high pointing the ball, and he played at Bama, transferred to UCF. Was Gus Malzahn's first 1,000-yard receiver.
Yeah, the Gus bus was actually there today. You missed out on him.
I missed Gus. Oh, man.
Yeah, he was there.
Boy. Yeah, but, man, he got in Gus' offense and just broke loose this past year and, kind of put his name on that draft board. I was hearing his dad say, he don't have a certain, draft spot or whatever, but he's out there to compete. And he's doing it, man. When I interviewed him, he seemed like a real humble kid. And I think he's going to be that diamond in the rough in this draft.
Yeah, I agree. And, a lot of guys that go to Alabama that don't have success transfer elsewhere, and we don't really hear much from them. But he was a guy this year, or kind of the last couple of years, that really balled out at UCF. So props to him for kind of keeping his head up and grinding. I mean, he had 1,100 yards this year, 7 touchdowns, averaged 21 yards per catch. So And
Yeah.
I'm looking at the stat sheet right now because there was one game that stood out to me. It was his last game of the year, actually, against Georgia Tech. He had 9 catches for 173 yards and a touchdown. He was just dominating. It was cool to see because he was a guy I wish he had stayed at Alabama, but I said, I understood why he left. But yeah, I agree. He's definitely a diamond in the rough and kind of, fits in with those names that we were talking about this week as well. I thought Jacob Cowling too from Arizona. He had a pretty good week. I like his size and quickness. Yeah. Today I don't know what he injured, but he injured himself and
he got carted off, didn't he?
Yeah, they brought the card out. So hopefully it's nothing too serious because I do think he had a great week. And I didn't know much about him going into the week. So,
I remember him at Arizona. Like, I've watched Arizona a few times, and he stood out. He's small, but he's explosive.
Yeah, he's very explosive. And kind of going guys that are like that as well. Jamari Thrash from Louisville.
Yeah. Oh, yeah.
Very, very fast. Not too big like Cowling, but very, very quick guy. So. Yep. Love the receivers in this class and all the guys we saw at the bowl.
And these guys we talking about just on the national team. I ain't even got to the American team. Let me flip to the American team because I got some receivers on that we didn't even talk about. Hold on, right here. How about Ladd McConkey? Ladd McConkey showed out, didn't
he? He did. He looked great this week. And another guy that was just constantly smiling. And I wanted to talk to him, but every day, he had all these a whole posse of people that were trying to interview him, so I wasn't able to talk to him.
He can't, man. I'm telling you, I heard a couple whispers about first round. I don't know about first round.
Who did you hear that from?
Second round. Man,
you talking to some Georgia fans?
I don't know who it was. I mean, they was back there. I had my ear to the streets, so they was talking about he could go first round. I'm looking. I said, I don't know about first, maybe second. Maybe second, but I don't know about first now. But he had a great week.
Yeah, I can see, I don't know, like third round, maybe late second, realistically. I don't think he'll go in the first. But, yeah, he did have a good week. I'm trying to think of some other guys.
Xavier Leggett.
Yeah, I like Xavier Leggett. And then Johnny Wilson disappointed me. He was one guy that I was excited to watch this week. I don't even think he practiced today because I think he hurt himself yesterday. To him, right? Yeah, he hurt himself. I want to say it was a rib injury. I could be wrong, but he didn't practice.
I read that.
Today.
Yeah, I read that, and I think that's why he didn't come to the media session afterwards.
Yeah, which really stinks because I was looking forward to talking with him. He was probably one of the 5 guys I want to talk to the most this week, just because of how intrigued I am by his size and his wingspan. He's like a damn pterodactyl. But so hopefully he gets healed up and has a good pro day and combine and his size is he's the biggest guy out there.
Now he's probably gonna go. Did you see where they put him at tight end? They lined him up at tight end yesterday.
I didn't see that. I know some people were talking about that
a couple times yesterday, and he looked pretty good. He was catching everything. The ball was low. He was catching it low.
He's got great hands and a great catch radius. He's a little slow off the line.
That's why he needs to be a tight end.
That's why the tight end thing. But, I mean, he could be a matchup nightmare at tight end, so against linebackers. But, yeah, I was waiting.
Right team will use him right.
The whole week, I was just waiting for, like, a deep pass, Johnny Wilson, like, corner of the end zone. I wanted to see him get up and try and moss somebody. I didn't get to see it, so that's probably the one thing this week that I wanted to see that I was disappointed, but
didn't get to see it.
You take what you can get.
Yeah, and Jaheim Bell too, the tight end at Florida State, his teammate, he looked good. I saw some highlights of him. They said he had a good day today.
He had a really good day today. They were doing the red zone drills, and he was catching balls in the corner and stuff. He had a great day. Okay. He was a guy that I didn't really catch my eye the first couple of days. I know there was some people were a little upset. I think his listed height was not the same height as he was measured this week when they did the measurements.
What?
Yeah, that's what I heard. I don't know like necessarily what. I think maybe, might have been listed as like a 6'2" guy, and he was like 6'1". I don't know, something like that.
But he played tight end though. I mean, he played big, I don't know how they measure these guys, And I heard they was using some of the measurements from from their freshman year. So maybe they grew a little bit, but I ain't heard nobody shrinking. I never heard nobody shrinking.
Yeah, his measurement on ESPN is 6'3". He says he's 240, so I'm thinking maybe he was like 6'2", just barely. But I heard somebody was talking about it. But
but I mean, it don't matter when they get to the combine and all that. They'll get it right. So,
well, I mean, yeah,
this right here, like. It's
it's overreaction season. People start getting hung up, and I mean, I'm over here talking about Johnny Wilson's height and wingspan. If he can't get off the line quick enough, he won't see the field at all. So we're officially in draft season and measurements and all that weight and stuff. People freaking out about.
Yeah. Before we move to the defense, what are your thoughts on South Alabama's quarterback, Carter Bradley?
Kind of an up and down week. He had a really good day yesterday. Today, he was kind of back to how he was Tuesday, a little inconsistent. Okay. He has a very strange throwing motion. I don't really know how to describe it. I don't know if you watch too much of him, but when he throws it looks like it takes like a second or two longer for him to get the ball out. So I don't really know what that's all about. And obviously, I'm not like any kind of quarterback wizard or guru or anything, but
I just heard some guys.
Go ahead.
I heard some guys say he was on there because South Alabama was hosting the thing. I don't know, man.
Yeah, and I think that was part of it. I mean, he had a decent year this year, but I'm all for that. I mean, like he played at South Alabama. He's familiar with the area. Like this is a big event. Yeah. Like you don't hurt. It doesn't hurt to have him there. It certainly improves his stock. And I'm sure there's some teams that saw him and were like, "Hey, this is a guy that wasn't on our radar at all." But maybe he'll get a roster spot or get signed as a free agent. And again, we're talking about like media. This being a big event for media guys like Bradley, and then another guy we haven't talked about from the national roster is Ryan Loud from New Hampshire. I remember I got there on Tuesday and I was like, within 5 minutes, hey, who's that number 40? Who's that guy? Hey, who's the number 40? And finally I looked at it.
I was looking, I was like, man, that dude,
I looked at the roster and I was like, Ryan Loud, New Hampshire, running back. And so he had a great week.
I didn't even know the helmet. That's why I was trying to see who it was. I didn't even know New Hampshire's helmet.
Yeah, so we're talking about media guys networking and making connections. These guys like Loud and Bradley that nobody knows of, or other than the absolute college football psycho guys or like diehard New Hampshire people. Yeah, he had a great week.
Okay, yeah. And before we move, I talked to Cody Schrader.
I got to talk to him today too. He looked great this week.
Man, he did himself he made some money this week. I mean, he's a small guy, but boy, does he pack it. He packs the punch.
Watching him run is like, it just doesn't even look like he's running all that hard. It just looks like he's gliding on the grass. He's so smooth. Man. So smooth. And he obviously, Missouri as a team had a phenomenal year. He had a great year. He's a great story. Just awesome guy. When I interviewed him too, he gave a very insightful answer, just kind of about I just basically asked him about his journey, describing his journey, and he was very humble and just grateful to get to the point that he was at. So he's kind of continued to just skyrocket his stock up.
He's one of those guys with that we know the stock arrows going up. He's one of those guys, especially in that running back class. Yeah, he's somebody gonna get a good one if they draft Cody Schrader for sure.
Yep.
Let's talk about some defense though, man. So let's go back and turn back. The DBs. We was
national team.
Quinyon Mitchell.
Yeah, he was like the worst kept secret of the week. It was like once those first rumblings got out, and that's the thing too about this is I forget who I was telling this, but if I wasn't at this event and I saw people talking about Quinyon Mitchell, I would just kind of be like, oh, Toledo guy, cornerback, like kind of just brush it off, kind of take it with a grain of salt. But having been there firsthand and seeing what he was able to do, I'm super sold on the guy. I
first round pick.
The consensus now, is that he's not going to get out of the first round, and probably more than likely going to be a top 15, top 12 pick, which is crazy. Again, just
from Toledo, because you don't really see Toledo play.
Yeah, so but he was putting on a show against everybody, and Ricky Purcell had a great week. But one guy that he struggled when he went up against him was Mitchell. Yeah. That's it was awesome for him to ball out.
Mm-hmm. Now, I saw Roman Wilson did get the best of Mitchell at one time. He did get him on that one play.
Yeah, he did. But, it's like great versus great. So, something's got to give. But,
what about the Auburn DBs, man? They had 3 of them out there. They had Jalen Simpson, DJ James, and Nehemiah Pritchard.
I thought they all looked pretty good. It pains me to say that as a Bama guy. I'm just kidding.
I know, man.
But
I was a little jealous. I'm like, golly, Auburn out here showing out.
Yeah, they were balling, and they were definitely having a lot of fun. I think
Cadillac was over there. You saw Cadillac yesterday. He showed up.
Yeah, I think it was Pritchett. It was yesterday, the day before. It might have been Tuesday. That at one point you had 2 Georgia guys and 3 Auburn guys on the defense, and they were having so much fun. I think I want to say it was Nehemiah Pritchett made a play, and he did like the seatbelt walking.
Yeah, that's right. I was sitting by you when I said, "Look at it, he's showing out." That was
So he had a lot of fun, and those guys, and that's what it's about. It's having fun. And those guys, those SEC guys, definitely enjoyed their time.
They did, man. So and it's kind of like and a lot of it is competition. You get all the SEC guys out there, they gonna show up and show out. And I did ask Joe Milton. Joe Milton got to talk about him, but asked him what was the difference from playing in the Big Ten to the SEC, and he was like speed. SEC they bigger, faster, and stronger. So I'm sure.
Yeah, that describes Joe Milton too.
Yeah. So I'm telling you, I'm sure those guys was out there saying, look, all the SEC, we gonna stick together. We gonna show these guys that we are top notch. And I'm sure when they all got, you look around, got SEC here. Oh yeah, we finna show up. And I bet you that's what happened when all them guys got on defense like that.
Yeah, actually, I know we're talking about defense, but literally probably 30 seconds before you brought up Milton, I was like, we never talked about Milton.
I know, I missed that. I missed Milton. And he was iced out. You saw he had the chain on.
Oh my! Yeah. You and I were over there. I was like, "Ooh, that chain!"
Milton. Hey. Milton. He's a big guy. He's big, freakish, athletic, and a lot of people was talking about Anthony Richardson, but his game is not like Anthony Richardson. But he could skyrocket up that draft board though. If he shows out at the combine, he could definitely skyrocket because he could throw the ball 80 yards.
Yeah, when they announced the rosters, he was one of the guys that I kind of saw in there. I didn't really expect much from him going into the week, but I thought he had a pretty good week.
Mm-hmm.
And he was having fun too. I think it was the first day he did like a backflip after he had like a nice throw.
Yes, they was asking him about that. Man,
he is a great. I want to say probably I didn't really interview him. I kind of just listened to him, but there was probably like 3 or 4 times where I was just kind of around him, listening to him talk to media, and he's very just calm, cool, collected,
and confident. He is so confident, boy.
He's very confident, but not like cocky or arrogant. He's just a confident guy, and
he's one of those guys that'll be, all right, I'm gonna tell you I'm gonna do this, and then let me go out here and show you I can do it. That's the attitude that Joe Milton has, and it kind of, when I watched him at Tennessee, probably because I'm a fan, I'm like, oh, he ain't nothing. But when you actually see him out there, then you actually see him in person and how, man, this dude here, this cool guy right here. So I wish him well, man. I wish Joe Milton the best.
Yeah, he was so nice to the media too. He's very interesting to see where he goes because obviously he's not going to step in and be like a starter, but I think he's a guy that if he goes to the right system and a team who knows how to develop quarterbacks, could be a kind of a stash guy on the depth chart. One of the Colts guys, the Colts guy was like, "Hey, the Colts should get him," and I was kind of like,
"Wait a minute! Oh, no, not the Colts."
As like a backup like playing if Richardson got
can't
hurt.
do that now.
I just kind of throughout the week too. I was kind of like listening to people talk about certain things. And
Yeah, me
stuff,
too. I was like that too. Yeah,
I can't help it. That's how I am. Like if I'm standing there watching something and somebody's talking really loud about one
you
of the
got
guys,
an ear hustle. It's called ear hustle. You got to ear hustle a little bit, you know.
Yeah, I like that.
That's how you make your way in the game. You got to ear hustle a little bit. But it's all love, man. It's all love. I really think the Tampa Bay Buccaneers should get him.
Yes, that would be a great thing. And Baker Mayfield had a great year, but no one really knows if he's going to do that again next year. I mean, Dave Canales, their OC, left to go be the coach for the Panthers. So you don't really know statistically if you're going to get another great year from a guy like Baker Mayfield. He's been in the league for not a while, but like a decent bit at this point. But yeah, I can see him. That would be a good spot for him too. Just like it's a fun place, like warm weather. I can see him really excelling in an environment like that. I mean, I don't know what's going to happen with Mike Evans. I think he's a free agent.
Yeah,
and maybe Godwin too. But like they've got some good weapons there. So if those guys decide to come back,
I just think because
maybe he sits behind Baker and learns a thing or two. If Baker comes back,
because Kyle Trask, I mean, he ain't it. Kyle Trask, he's been sitting there. I think it's time to move on from Kyle Trask. He's been there since Brady, and he can't hit the field, can't get on the field. So you need another quarterback. And if Joe Milton's sitting there, second, third round, you got to take him.
Yeah, I can really see that. I'm glad you brought up that team because I think that'd be a perfect like location for him to develop and learn from Baker if Baker's still there as well.
That's right. Let's go back to the defense. I know we had to talk about Joe Milton though, but let's go back to the defense. The guy who really stood out to me, man, was Latu from UCLA.
Yeah, he was really good.
He had a great week.
Yeah, I got to ask him a couple of questions, and he was very energetic with his responses. All these guys were great with the media. I kind of brought it up earlier, but they were all, for the most part, very happy to talk to. And yeah, Latu had a great week, and
he's gonna be a first round pick anyway. Though I think he was gonna be a first round pick anyway.
Yeah, and that's somebody's asking him, just basically, you didn't have to come here. You were gonna be a first round pick. Like, why did you decide to? And he just said he likes to compete. And I think he knew a lot of the guys that he knew were going, and he just wanted to kind of have fun and kind of reiterate.
He just want to hang out. Yeah, he just want to hang out.
Yeah, reiterate how great a
prospect he is. Ain't nothing wrong with that, man.
Yeah, I mean, honestly, I'd probably do the same thing. So,
yeah, I mean, shoot. And another guy too, Brandon Fisk. What's his name? Fisker.
Yeah, Braden Fisk from D tackle from Florida State. Yeah, he had a good week. I thought he's very, very physical, which obviously is good for a defensive tackle. He's not like too big, but he's very stout. He's really quick off the ball. There were a couple of snaps.
He's quick. I noticed that.
I was like, is he offsides? But he got a great jump on the ball and was in the backfield.
Yeah, but he was doing that at Florida State too. So he jumps off the tape. When you watch the tape, he jumps off the tape, and he did it again. Just in person, he just jumped out.
Yeah,
so he really stood out too.
I remember watching the Louisville game, the ACC championship game, and he had a great game. He was in the backfield like half the game. So yeah, he put on some great tape this week too.
He'll be a good fit. Like I said, he'll be a good fit on the other side of another dominant defensive edge, and he's coming off the other side. He'll be a perfect fit in somebody's defense who already has a good player on that side.
Yeah, I agree for sure.
Yeah, and we got to talk about Alabama guys: Chris Braswell, Justin Eboigbe, and Will Riker. Now, Will Riker kicked a damn 60-yard field goal.
Yeah, he did.
He didn't miss. Did he miss? I heard he didn't miss. Nothing.
Today, his kicks were a little – I mean, they all went in, but they were kind of a little bit off for his – I mean, comparatively speaking for him.
Yeah, but that 60-yard, boy, ooh.
He had a lot of media people talking to him, too.
He going to get drafted. He might go like fourth round. He's not going seventh round. Somebody gonna jump and get him if they need a kicker.
Yeah, well, I
He may
know
go 4th round.
I know Jake Moody went in like the 3rd round last year, so I wouldn't be surprised if a team that really needs a kicker takes Reichert in the
Hell
3rd.
yeah. You know, it's going to be one of those teams that got like 10, 11 picks. You know, they can afford. They got like 3 picks in the 3rd round, 3 in the 4th. They can afford to get a kicker. But I wish Will Reichert the best. That's the GOAT kicker, in my opinion, from Bama. And a good guy, man. He every time I seen him, you know, interviewed him. I saw him at Fan Day last year. Got his autograph. Like, man, you the GOAT. You know, he just laughed it off. But
Yeah,
I love Will Reichert, man.
It's funny when you
I didn't get to talk to him.
Yeah, it's funny when you stand next to him too, because you're like, so you're kind of caught off guard. Just I don't know, his size. I mean, I'm not some big imposing figure, but yeah. But like you said, he's a good guy, and I got another guy I was fortunate enough to talk to. Asked him about Coach Saban and what he meant to him, and he just kind of talked about like not just being disciplined on the field, but being a disciplined person in general. So
yeah,
great guy for sure.
Yeah, Ice Cold. Definitely gonna miss Will Reichert, man. Great dude. Now I
Ice
talked
Cold
to
Willie.
Chris Braswell. Chris Braswell, cool as hell, man. He is so mild-mannered, man. He kind of reminds you of Will Anderson, soft-spoken, but he's a monster on the field. And he's a big guy. Standing next to him, man, this dude with hands twice the size of my hand, and he's going to make a lot of money. Braswell probably would go late 1st, early 2nd, but the combine's going to be key to him.
Yeah, I agree. That was kind of the thing that I was going to say. I think late 1st, and if he doesn't go in the 1st round, he'll be like one of the first 5 or 6 guys taken in the 2nd.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, because he's definitely a 1st round talent, but it's all dependent. What people understand, the draft is all dependent on need, especially in the 1st round. It's about need and what you already have. So if you got a dominant defensive edge, you really don't want to draft another one because you know, okay, we got to pay the guy we already have coming up in a couple of years. We can't have another guy that we gonna have to pay right behind him. So it's all about where you draft them at too.
Yeah, and the board, like however the board plays out, because let's say you got like a 2nd round grade on him, but there's a lot of edge rushers that have gone, and you're sitting there, you got to pick late in the 1st, and you're pick in the 2nd, and you're thinking you can get him. You're going to just go ahead and take him because you don't want to run the – and if he's a guy that you're really high on.
You don't want to run the risk, yeah.
You would rather draft him 10 picks early or 8 picks early than not get him at all. So, yeah, the whole process is interesting. And certain
it seems like it's fun, but it's stressful.
Yeah, so everybody has different – I mean, the consensus, like, top guys or everybody wants them. That some – teams know they're not going to get him, but just the rest of it is, for lack of a better term, is kind of a crapshoot as far as position value, draft board, like all that stuff. Like every year, there's guys that go higher than they should, or vice versa, as well, guys that slip.
Yep. And Justin Abortby I heard he had a great day today.
Yeah, he had a really good day today.
Great day today.
I was able to kind of weasel my way onto the field and got to see like him and Braswell when they were doing the one-on-ones with the offensive line, and that was really cool. He did very well. Same with Braswell.
Yeah. So that's cool, man. I mean, I wish all our guys the best, Alabama guys for sure, man. I know they're gonna go to the league and they're gonna be, long-term players in the league, like most of our guys are. They stay the course. They play long, have great careers, and become, one of the alumni guys that come back and, support the school.
Yeah, I agree. And maybe not all of them are going to be
you always got to root for your guys.
Yeah, absolutely. And then some of them might not be studs, like Hall of Famers, Pro Bowl guys, but there's a lot of guys that went to Alabama that have just kind of stuck around the league just because of how disciplined they are and how hard they work. So, there's a spot for everybody on the team.
That's that Nick Saban guys.
Absolutely.
Yeah. And these are some of the Nick Saban guys too, man. So the last of the crop of the Nick Saban guys, man. Gotta root hard for them.
Absolutely.
Yeah. So that's about it. So, in your opinion, give me your top 5 guys for the top 5 guys that showed out this week, man? Just top 5 if you can name them.
Not in any particular order. Quinyon Mitchell, Roman Wilson.
Yep.
I'm trying to like do this by like different positions because I want to say Pearsall and McConkey, but I'm trying to think.
You don't want to say all.
Yeah, who else do I have on here? I think Schrader is definitely got to be on that list.
I got Schrader on that too.
Who else? I don't know. I guess
because most of these guys built that, their draft stock is on the rise. These are the guys that we saying that are on the rise. That we are saying right here for the top.
Yeah, a Boygby, and I mean, who else could I put on here? I thought Ray Davis from Kentucky looked good too. I didn't really talk about him. I don't know if I put him in my top 5, but I don't know. Kind of just the receivers. A couple offensive tackles I think did well. Got Tyler Guyton from Oklahoma, and
he did
from Missouri.
Yeah. And Jackson Powers Johnson, the center from Oregon.
Yeah, he did.
They said he had a great day. I kept seeing his name. Because you really can't pay attention to the offensive linemen like the receivers. Receivers stand out. You can see them. They make plays. Offensive linemen is just there, So you got to give them some love too. Yeah. So yeah, man, I'm with you, man. I think, like I say, Javon Baker, I think would be will be a diamond in the rough, and then Roman Wilson, Latu, Quinyon Mitchell, and Schrader.
Yeah, I agree. We're both loving Schrader, and just like everybody else this week, just kind of can't speak high enough about him.
Yeah. Well, man, it was. I know you got to run, and I got to get off here, but recap this thing with somebody who was there with me. You know what I'm saying? And it was just cool
in the trenches
with the guy in the trenches, and it was a lot of guys, man. I know we made some connections. Shout out to Wyatt Fulton too, man.
Yeah, he's great.
He's cool as hell. Yeah. The Bama. He works for Bama.
He works for Tide 100.9 now. He was with Bama Central, but he's with Tide, and then Sidelines Alabama.
Sidelines.
I'm about to hop on in a few minutes and talk with him in a Twitter space. It was cool to meet him too, because I've never like met him personally. I didn't even know what he looks like. I'm just like know him.
That's what I'm saying.
So I had to ask him his name. I was like, "What's your name?" Like I can't remember, and he
I sent him a message. I'm like, man, it was cool to meet you, bro. I didn't know you ran the page because it's cool to put a face behind the page. If you know what I'm saying.
Yeah, and he was standing there. He was like, all these people here, like none of them would know that I have like 50,000 Twitter followers. I was like, yeah, it's crazy.
That's like, my dog, man. I might jump on that space with y'all, man. Y'all get on there and do y'all thing.
No, you should. I was like, I told him, I was like, we're going to have to put you in witness protection after this week because now everybody knows what you look like.
Hell yeah. We're going to keep it on the low. I ain't going to tell nobody, but that's my partner now, That's my partner. Exactly. So it was cool to chop it up with everybody, man. We're going to get together and do some A-Day coming up, so we got to do that. And
we're local too. We're not too far from each other.
That's what I'm saying. That's what I'm saying. So this
won't be the last collab.
Oh, hell no. This is going to be the start, man. Look, Joe, I appreciate you, man. Tell everybody where they can find you.
Yeah, you can find me. I guess the best place would just be on Twitter at Super Bowl Sports. I post a lot on there. I'm honestly addicted to it. So, yeah, it would just be on there. And then, obviously, I know somebody was in here earlier, said they were a Troy fan. We're just trying to get the site up and running. It's been a work in progress, but we've put a lot of good stuff on there. So, TroyInsider.com. Subscribe to that and just kind of see the message board posts and the little quick articles I've been trying to get out. This week I've slacked on it, but just at Twitter, at Super Bowl Sports, and then TroyInsider.com. Thank you so much for having me on here.
Hey, Brian, no problem, man. We're going to chop it up again soon. I'm going to get out of here too, man. For me, Joe Will, and everybody out there, appreciate the love, support. This has been the Senior Bowl Week Recap. I'm JB, and I'm out.
Peace.